Well, hello, YouTubers. Hey, today I'm going to show you the more geeky side of this old goat. What we're going to do is we're going to try to take two routers, connect them together to expand our Wi-Fi capabilities around the house. Right here's the router that came with the cable. It's the whatever Spectrum's router is. Not real familiar with it, not overly whatever. I mean, it seems to work okay for about 30 or 40 feet. After that, dies off. And what I want to do is I want to put Wi-Fi into my yard. Right now I can get it mostly everywhere in the house. It's just when I get to the back porch, it dies. Or it's kind of like in and out, in and out, in and out. The yard to the side, just outside the house, it's still dead too. So what I really want to do is I want to increase the range of my Wi-Fi, and I'm just going to use two routers to do it, two Wi-Fi routers to do it. First thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to open up a browser and go to your browser's or your router's IP address. Most of the time it's going to be 192.168.1.1 or 192.168.0.1. As you can see, this one's 0.1. You're going to want to go to the basic configuration, and we'll try to get over to that here again, or the WAN setup. Oops, sorry. Right, if you see, it's on that tab up here on this router. You're going to want to note your IP address and your subnet mask. Actually, I don't think that's the right one. I think we want basic setup. LAN setup. That's what we want. Okay, so we'll see that the IP address here is okay. You can see the LAN setup right there. Sorry for the confusion there. You can see that the IP address here is 192.168.0.1. Oops, I'm not pointing at the right spot. And the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. I wrote down the wrong number. That's alright. I used, whatever. Usually your subnet mask is almost always 255.255.255.0. Unless you alter it and change it to something else, that's what it's going to be. As far as this screen, we're done with that. So your next tab you're going to worry about is going to be your wireless settings. Wait for the page to load, and you're going to need to write down some information here. You need to know your SSID, which, I'm sorry for the camera here, guys. It's a tight fit where I'm trying to point this thing. Your SSID is, of course, for this example, we use Cheyenne 2. The next thing you're going to need to know is what channel you're on. Well, right here, we're on channel 11. And then you're going to need to know your security mode, which is down here at the bottom. And I got it WPA, WPA2, PSK. And then you're going to need your pre-share key, which is your passcode to log on to the Wi-Fi. And for this example, we're using Cheyenne 2. That's not what my SSID is normally, and that's not what my pre-share key is normally, but for this example, I changed them before I started recording. That way, Anyway, the next step is going to be to configure the secondary router. Now, of course, for this one, I'm sorry, I probably should have said this earlier. You need to connect straight in to the router through one of the LAN buttons or LAN ports in the back. Of course, this one doesn't have a WAN port because the WAN is the coax. So I had 4 free open LAN ports. Tapped into one of those, tapped it into my computer, went to the settings. You could just do it over the Wi-Fi, but I have this one set to where you can't change any of the settings from a wireless connection. You have to be hardwired to make changes to the settings. I just think that's just smart. Anyway, we're going to take you to the next step here. Next step's a little bit easier. Okay, for the second part of this, you're just going to take your second router. For this one, we're using a G. Now, you want to connect your Cat 5 into the LAN portal. Any one of them will do. There's 4 back there. And then you want to connect it into the back of your tower, of which I'm not even going to show you that. Then you're going to want to go to the web browser interface for that router. And just close that. Get down here to Windows, and down here at the little where it says type here to search, you're just going to type CMD. Hit enter because you don't have this selected or anything. Oops, I don't want it that big. And we're going to pull it over here to the side. That way it takes up half my screen. And up there where it's typing, you just type in IP config space / all. Hit enter, and you scroll up, and my default gateway is 192.168.0.1 or .1.1. The HTTP server is the same. So that gives me the IP address for the router. That's all I really need that for. That's default for the Linksys, but in case you don't know the IP address for your router, you can always do that. It should be in the first or like the third section there, where it says Ethernet adapter and local area connection. That's where you're going to get all your information for your router. Of course, if you were set up wirelessly, the next section, the wireless LAN, would have a lot of your information in there. Wireless network name. I believe that's where we're going to put the, because the screens are a little different between the two. That's okay. That's my SSID. That does not have to be the same as the SSID inside, but it can be. It's just you're not going to be able to differentiate which one's which unless you give a different SSID. So we're just going to give it Cheyenne 1 because the other one's Cheyenne 2. Wireless channel, we need to be on channel 11 because we were on 11 inside, so we got to keep that the same. Okay. Now, we'll just save the settings here because I'm not overly familiar with this router's stuff anymore. It should be on security, I think. Oops, I'm sorry. Back up the top, the wireless security button. And then we want to select the same security mode. That the other one had, which is WPA, WPA2. This one does not have it the same way. So we're going to try WPA personal. Either that or we could try WPA2 personal. Either way, we should be able to connect one way or the other. And then I think it was TKIP. PA shared key. Let's try WPA2. See if that's any different. It's going to be the same stuff, isn't it? Okay, we'll go back to WPA personal. We're going to key IP, shared key. I believe that's going to be our passphrase, and that was Cheyenne 02. And we're going to save settings here. Okay, now we need to go over here to advanced settings, which is just right over here. I'm not sure if it's in advanced settings or advanced wireless settings. We need to change it from gateway to router. So that's what we're looking for is, you know, something that says gateway. Maybe we're going to just change it to router. Yeah, I'm not seeing it on this one, so it must be in setup. And I apologize for this. I should have ran through this before I even started. But you know, you can't do everything. Sometimes you just got to show that you're human and you get confused too. Okay, so we're going to be in setup, our basic setup, or setup, I'm sorry, setup, and then over to advanced, which is here. And then we're going to change this from gateway to router. Okay. Now, enter router name. Oh, well, that's okay. Give me router. Okay, we need to disable DHCP, and I don't see an option for enabling. And if you have two routers handling DHCP requests, you're going to have all kinds of problems. I did that at work once. It was a nightmare. Kicked me all kinds of problems. All right, now we're going to change the IP address of this router to something in the IP range of the master router. Okay, I think we want to keep that as DHCP. This is what we're getting from the other router, I believe. Now, down here where it says local IP address, that's where we want to put in the. It's going to be in the same range as the other one. The other one was 192.168.0.1. So we're going to change this to 0. And then it can be 2 up to like 254 or 255. I don't think the one went all the way up to 250. I think it went to like 240 or something. We'll just put it as 2. That'll just keep us here with that. The subnet mask, inside it was 255.255.255.0. So that's standard default. We can keep that the same. And then this one's okay. There's the HCP server, so we can disable that there. If it's on my screen there, DHCP server, disable that. Then we should be able to save settings, and then that should be it for this part. Everything should be good. Of course, if you notice, once you hit save, your screen's not going to load because we are still at the IP of 192.168.1.1. That we can get down to the networks, and we can see that it is now broadcasting. Cheyenne 2 was the inside one, which is I think it's 1 bar here, and then Cheyenne 1, I mean, it's sitting right here, so we got full power to it. So it looks like everything should be working on this end. We'll just go inside and hook them up. Now the next step of this, see Cheyenne 2 saying no internet. It's just because there's no real good connection there. So the next step's going to be, you're just going to take your 2 routers, you're going to take some Cat 5, and you're going to take the back of the one, and you're just going to put, you're going to plug this into the LAN on this one, and you're going to plug it into the LAN on the other one, and then we're going to, the other one's in the living room, This one we're probably just going to fish the Cat 5 through the floor. There's already holes there for the cable and everything else. I'm hoping there's enough room to put the Cat 5 down. But we're going to fish it through the floor, hopefully, into the basement. And then we're going to go up against the wall on this side of the house. Right here I'm out in the shed. And so, we're going to go up against the wall. We're going to try to find a place to plug it in and turn it on. And then that should feed the internet from the house to the to the wall, to the edge of the house, and hopefully that 10-15 feet, it might be more like 30 feet, hopefully that'll be enough to hit me out here. I'm only about maybe 40 feet from where I'm thinking of putting this, so that should be plenty. I mean, the other one can reach here. It's just not strong enough of a signal to actually get on the internet. I mean, it takes like 20 minutes to connect, and by that time it's rolled away and you can't see it anymore, and then it's just too much interference. So we'll get this a little closer. Hopefully that'll work. Anyway, I'll come back whenever it's done, and we'll see if we can connect to the internet. Okay, YouTubers, was finally able to connect. I can confirm that it is in fact working. I hit edit here and it brings up the edit page for that particular video. So I mean, it is in fact working. It's just I need to move it closer. But everything's set up on it right. Everything's functioning as it should. It doesn't want to go through that brick wall, so I would have to either set it up above the brick wall, or maybe bring it outside somewhat, or move it. I mean, or move it towards the back porch. If I go to the back porch, it should be able to get it working back there, because it does. I mean, it does have more things to go through, but it's not brick. It's just wood. And if I put it underneath the back porch or whatever, maybe I'll just put it in the garage. Then it's really close, and once it's outside, I don't have to worry about much, other than I don't have electric to my garage. I don't have electric out here. I have an extension cord running out here. So anyway, I should be able to listen to music out here as long as the internet stays up and functioning. But as you can see, it is a little slow to respond. But once I move it, tweak it out, get a little closer, then it should function. But that's how you get your internet set up outside. Just using two routers. I mean, you could do the Wi-Fi range extender. I think those are like $150 or whatever. You could. I mean, there's a couple other options you can do. Or you could just use what you have. Which that's what I chose to do this time, was just to use what I have. That way I don't have to go spend $150. I mean, ideally I would get an AC router instead of an N or a G. I mean, ideally the N would have worked, but it didn't want to work. I'm sure if that one would have turned on, that would have given me a much better signal out here. But it is what it is. I got what I got, and that's, so until I can get and buy a new router, this will just have to be what works. Anyway, we'll see y'all later. Have a good day. Bye. Okay, YouTubers, I moved the router just a little bit. Probably just raise it up about a foot. It's now above the brick. And wow, my upload is through the roof. My download is kind of shoddy. Test that again. Anyway, we moved it about a foot up, so it is above the brick, but it is still below I mean, it's got a lot of wood to go through. At least it's above the cinder block, though. And of course, you saw the first speed test where it was fairly decent. I mean, the upload was great at times. The download sucked. Second test, download still sucks, and looks like the upload's going to suck too. But at least it's keeping a connection now, so I will be able to listen to music outside. And that to me is a good thing. I mean, as you can see, it's fluctuating a little bit. But, you know, all in all, what we did worked. We're just still too far away from the router to really get a good signal or a good connection. There's things I could do, but as far as what the intent of this video was just to show you how to do it. Right there, it's successful. You know, I mean, if I moved my desk a little bit over closer to the house, I'd get a better reading. If I moved the router a little bit further back, I'd also get a better reading. The main problem with moving the router further at this point is I don't have another plug for it. It's basically on the closest plug in the basement that I have this way. So if I want to increase or get it closer, the router itself, then I'm going to have to push it back up, you know, either into the back porch or to the outside of the house, where I can move this building closer. But either way, you can see it's working. Okay, so everything I did for this video purposes of showing you how to do it works. It's just, you know, I mean, it's not great. It's not the best speed out there, but and it does fluctuate a little bit. But that's to do with a lot of interference and stuff. So you'll have that. You know, no matter what you do, you're going to have that, especially at this distance. I'm really surprised that I'm getting this good of a reading, especially for upload at this distance. I mean, I figured my download would be faster, but the upload is really phenomenal for this at this distance. It's just, that's it. That's all there is to it. Hopefully that helps some of you guys out. I'm hoping later this year or next year to get a projection screen up outside and you know, be able to put my laptop up to the projector and get some speakers out here and watch some movies. This is a good test run for me. If I get one of the newer AC type routers, this should drastically increase my speed out here and increase the range of my router. So I'm considering this a successful test run. It's definitely going to work for what I want. And you know, if I get an AC router, I might not even need a second router. But if I do, get a second AC router, run the wires, and we're good to go. Still need to get power to the garage and power to the shed, but it is a successful test run. So anyway, we'll see y'all later. Bye.